Measure, Representative Fale.
Mr. Speaker, in strong support.
In strong support, please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I commend the author of this bill for the foresight and the wisdom that went into the construction of this bill and what it's actually going to mean to the people in the state of Hawaii, Mr. Speaker. As an individual who often visits with a lot of the families in my community that are economically distressed, Mr. Speaker, who have young children in school, the quickest way we're going to get our children out of poverty is through education. And after that education, we have to provide them with the means, the infrastructure, and the necessary support mechanisms to allow them an economic future that is brighter than what they currently are looking at right now, Mr. Speaker. And that is going to primarily come from the innovation and technology that this bill will allow my community access to, Mr. Speaker. So this bill is a very innovative, and there's a lot of foresight that has gone into the very unique challenges that we face here in the state of Hawaii, Mr. Speaker. Often I tell my little kids, you know, look into the sky, what do you see? I see economic interaction between the largest economy in the world over in the mainland United States, Mr. Speaker, and the fastest growing economies in the world in Asia. And because of Hawaii's very unique geographical location, we are in a position where we can actually take great advantage of where we are location-wise, and at the same time moving into industry that is both economically productive but also environmentally sensitive, Mr. Speaker. And we are going to have to make the necessary adjustments in our policy and the direction that we're going, Mr. Speaker. And this broadband effort is going to allow us to plug into the future economy, Mr. Speaker. This is what is going to allow us access to the next 100 years of economic prosperity. So I greatly commend the author of this piece of legislation, Mr. Speaker, and its passage would greatly move us in the direction that Hawaii needs to move in, given our very unique situations, Mr. Speaker. And with that, I am in strong support of this measure.
Thank you, Representative. Members, further discussion, Representative Awana.
Mr. Speaker, in support, I'd like to ask that the words from the good representative from Upcountry Maui be entered into the journal as if they were my own.
So
and
ordered.
I would also like to add additional written comments.
So ordered.
Thank
you,
you,
Representative. Members, further discussion, Representative Lowen.
I just want to clarify, and I'm reading from the bill. It says, if on the 61st day an application is not approved with modification, or disapproved by the state, the application shall be deemed approved by the state. So I understand the practice is automatic denial, but if that's the practice, then why don't we address that in the statute? This still leaves the door open for potentially automatically approving things, and I still stand by saying that's not good policy.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion, members? We're on Conference Committee Report number 58.
Speaker.
Representative Ward.
Support.
Support, please proceed.
With, I guess, a caveat and a reservation.
Okay.
Having been on the broadband task force that was formed in the House and the Senate a number of years ago, we were privy to some information that I think is probably public by now, but it relates to what the gentleman from Laie had said about, you know, this is our future, this is going to be really our link to the rest of the world, at least for economic prosperity and communications. What we had learned while the broadband task force was in session was that Google had been planning a West Coast to Asia underground cable, and by all means we wanted it to stop in Hawaii. In the process of communications, we were told, Hawaii, you are not going to get the cable. We're going to go around you because, number one, you got too many overlay regulations. Number two, you're anti-business. You're not open for business attitude. So while this thing comes down a little bit heavy, it's trying to say that if we're going to get broadband people, because there's a lot of money that this takes to invest to make this stuff succeed, we've got to give the permits to facilitate that. At the same time, and I go back to the entrepreneurial, and Speaker, I'm getting off the subject, if we don't get more entrepreneurial friendly, we can pass all the regulations, but if the investment doesn't come, which creates the business, which creates the job, all this is for naught. So this is a very, very important bill, and as the gentleman said, this is all about our future. We are the most remote civilization in the history of mankind. We've got to have linkages, but you know, right now, Korea is about 100 times faster in their internet than we are. Most of Asia is faster than we are. We are really a third world country when it comes to the broadband. So this is very important, but it's something we have to nurture and hopefully do it wisely.